because they haven't gotten the energy and the quick start from Latrell Sprewell. Sprewell is a streaky offensive player, and that dunk seemed to get him going, and his perimeter game has followed suit. And when he's aggressive offensively and has that torchy feeling, bad news for the opponent. The shot chart for Sprewell getting a lot of balls in the air early.
That's a good sign. You get 7 shots in the first 8 minutes of the first quarter. That's a great start. What Van Gundy would like is some more defensive rebounding, though, from Latrell Sprewell and Allen Houston. Spree, in the 2 games in New York, did not get a single defensive rebound. Allen Houston, he exploded for 2 on the defensive end.
And Mullen fouls Sprewell. Sprewell posting him up. And Chris Mullen, the former Golden State teammate, commits his first foul.
I think that Sprewell is a much better player off the wing when he faces the basket. When he posts, regardless of who he's posting against, he's not nearly as good. Allen Houston and Sprewell are going to have to play well. Sprewell travels.
If they don't call that traveling, you've got a lot of trouble as a defensive player.
Been a lot of discussion, of course, about Sprewell's starting or not starting status. He made it plain he wanted to start all season, did not, and then did not perform well when he got the start in Game 4. And on the season as a whole, the Knicks are 1-4 when Sprewell starts. Miller, and Reggie saves it inbounds to Jackson. Jackson threw it to Ronnie Nunn, the official, who made a nice catch, I might add.
Well, Ronnie used to be a college basketball player. An outstanding player in his own day. Now is turned in to one of the league's better officials.
Reggie Miller's a guy that, likes to take one dribble and get in the air, does a nice job of pump faking, but what he's done better tonight is chase balls down. We have seen early that Miller is reacting much better than he did at any point in the first 4 ball games.
Talk about being a complete player. I mean, Reggie's mopping the floor.
Well, he promised he would be much more aggressive in Game 4, and it really didn't turn out that way, but to start Game 5, he does appear to be much more aggressive.
Indiana just looks so much quicker in Games 4 and 5, Tom.
They're trying to get ball movement, player movement, and they do. Kurt Thomas can't finish, though.
Camby's got to shoot that ball. He's wide open 6 feet and pass it up to a guy who's 12 feet away.
Jackson. Sprewell loves to gamble to get in the passing lane. He just pulled back in time that time, and Mullen couldn't get away from him. Jackson, a long 3. Whoa! Indiana by 8.
Another streak by the Pacers, led by that deep 3, but Allen Houston trying to answer, and he just hasn't been able to get that perimeter shot going, but he's got to continue to shoot the ball.
Camby's had a lot of touches on the scramble plays, but he hasn't come up with any of them yet. His teammates have to start moving in conjunction with his darts to the basket.
It's been a game of streaks. Jackson hits the layup, schooling Charlie Ward as he took him inside there, and Indiana with another run, 13-2 on this one.
How long is Van Gundy going to go with Charlie Ward, who's been completely ineffective?
Missed that one, but got his own rebound. Here's Camby attacking. Back rim, got the rebound. Thomas. Camby over the back to tap, commits the loose ball foul.
Well, Mark Jackson just doing everything. The ball kicked out from the baseline. Jackson realized there's only 5 seconds on the shot clock. It takes him that long to drive it all the way to the hoop. Might as well shoot a 3 and keep our defensive balance.
You might want to take a dribble and get a step or 2 closer, though.
Oh, no, he's got the shot going here. Reggie Miller, though, doing it on the defensive end, snatching rebounds. And when you leave Charlie Ward just frozen there, Mark Jackson is not going to shoot jumpers from 12 feet. You got to back off a little bit. But when you put that forearm in his back, great pivot players use that forearm as a fulcrum to just roll off and get into the open court.
Saturday, our coverage of the WNBA tips off with the highly anticipated national television pro debut of 2-time Collegiate Player of the Year Shamiqua Holdsclaw and the Washington Mystics. They take on Cynthia Cooper, 2-time league MVP, and the 2-time world champion Houston Comets. That's the WNBA on NBC Saturday, 4 o'clock Eastern Time.
Are you doing that game too, Tom?
I'm not going to do that one, Bill, but I'll be doing some this summer. And come next year, we'll be making some trips to Indianapolis, as they are one of the 4 new franchises that will be added to the WNBA next season.
You got a spot on that broadcast booth, Tom, in the WNBA?
We'll find one for you, Bill.
I'm begging.
Chris Childs has replaced Charlie Ward at point guard for New York as Reggie Miller throws it away.
Now here comes Freel in full launch, and they get Camby on the fly, foul Mullen. Second foul against Mullen, but the Knicks have not been able to get their speed game going, which produces high percentage shots. They've been stuck in a half-court mud game, which they cannot win against a bigger Indiana Pacer team.
That fast break for the Knicks results in 2 free throw attempts, and it's always nice in terms of controlling tempo to get to the line. If you run your lanes wider, you get dunk attempts that cannot be stopped by foulers like Chris Mullen.
Camby has gotten better with each round and has made an impression that even you, Bill Walton, won't forget.
I'd say he's been the most consistent New York player in the playoffs. Jalen Rose replacing Mark Jackson at the point now for Indiana. Remember, they're playing without their normal backup point, Travis Best, who has a groin pull.
Now, Reggie Miller is doing a much better job of drawing fouls, and this time he does a good job of running Allen Houston into a screen. They say he held. There was no foul there, but Houston gets tagged with the second. So along with no offense for Allen Houston, defensively he's getting stung by a foul. That means Charlie Ward's going to have to come back in the ball game. Point production again drops for Jeff Van Gundy.
That's a terrible call. A game of this magnitude, a star player, just a little. There wasn't even a contact on there. Now he has to go to the bench, and Van Gundy forced to go with Ward and Childs at the same time. That puts even more burden on Sprewell and Camby to come up with something.
Reggie Miller now with 8 points. The Knicks have Larry Johnson, Chris Dudley, now Allen Houston, and Kurt Thomas, all with 2 fouls. Sprewell to Thomas, blocked by Antonio Davis. Loose ball. Here's Reggie Miller. 2 on 2.
I'm sorry, Tom. I saw Dale Davis dive to the floor like that. That's the kind of inspirational play you need from all your players.
Mullen over Childs. Oh, the savvy old veteran with a fall-away baseline jumper. And Indiana, in the final 45 seconds of the quarter, has built a 26-14 lead.
Now, for the New York Knicks, they got to think about a 36-minute game. And they've got to survive this first hot period where Indiana's made everything.
Steve, when you're playing small, and Charlie Ward misfires again, when you're playing small, everything has to go perfect offensively. Van Gundy said he needed a great game out of his team tonight to have a chance to win at the end. He's not gotten that in the opening quarter.
Final seconds, first quarter.
Now, the Indiana Pacers have been famous for droughts. We'll see if they get one in the next 36 minutes as Rose works for the last shot. Travel.
Jalen Rose did travel. Didn't matter. Hit the shot. 3 seconds left.
Find a pivot foot, Jalen, please.
Childs from midcourt as the first quarter comes to a close. Reggie Miller, a much more aggressive player here in Game 5. 8 points in the first.
The mound. It's